The 18th of May, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi.
New Parsha. Okay. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Good. Okay. Let's start off here. Parsha's Behar.
Okay, Behar. By the Behar Hashem and Moshe, Behar Sinai lay more. Okay, so Hashem spoke to Moshe on Mount Sinai, saying, Rashi has Behar Sinai. Ma inyan Shemitah Eitzel Har Sinai. Okay, so why is the matter of Shemitah next to Har Sinai, Mount Sinai?
So basically what Rashi means to ask is as follows. The pasuk Vayidaber Hashem Moshe Lemor appears, I think, about 70 times in the Torah.
Right.
Vayidaber Hashem Moshe Behar Sinai Lemor maybe is only on some very rare occasions. Just 1 second. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, it's the only one.
Oh.
Just checking possibly somewhere else. Yeah. Right. I don't know if it appears anywhere else. I can actually have a Sefer has a list of all the psukim in the Torah, and I'll tell you exactly whether this it appears anywhere else. But this is the only place, and that's why Rashi's got a major question. Why all of a sudden over here does the Torah feel it necessary to mention Behar Sinai and Mount Sinai?
Okay.
That's Rashi's question.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason the question is, Mayin Har Sinai Etzel Shemitah. And put it that way. Why is the special mention of Har Sinai mentioned regarding the mitzvah of Shemitah, which is the mitzvah which is going to be mentioned in this section? Ba'aloi kol ha-mitzvahs ne'emru miSinai.
Ne'emru
klal Yisrael v'diktukei miSinai. Av kula ne'emru klal Yisrael v'diktukei miSinai.
Okay, so the general laws, okay, and its fine points were stated at Sinai, but all the commandments were too.
Well, more than that, not just in the same way as we see in this parsha, all the details of the mitzvah were mentioned at Sinai, because that's what the pasuk is telling you over here. Hashem spoke to Moshe at Har Sinai, saying, and here mentions the mitzvah of Shemitah, not just you have to keep Shemitah, but it tells you all the details of the mitzvah.
Okay.
So too, wherever any of the other mitzvahs are mentioned, of kula nemo klorisei v'diktukei mitzvah. Kach shnuya b'Torah's Kohen. This is what's stated in Torah's Kohen.
Oh, okay. All the details are stated there too. Okay. And then V'nireh li, but it appears to me, Shekach Prusha. This is the explanation. Ufi shalom atzinu shmiat karkaot we did not find the Shemitah
Whereas
of the
the mitzvah
land.
of Shmitas Karkois, right, which means the agriculture, the mitzvah of um, the mitzvah of letting the land lie fallow in the seventh year.
Seventh year. Okay.
There's another, in the seventh year also has another mitzvah that all loans, how shall I say it?
Have to
No
be forgiven
loans may be, any loan that passes the end of the seventh year may no longer be reclaimed.
or reclaimed. Okay.
So Rashi says we're for the moment dwelling on the agricultural aspect of Shemitah.
Right.
The Shemitah's Kakoris.
Okay. Which was repeated in the plains of Moab, the Mishneh Torah, the Mishnah Torah.
Which is another name for Sefer Dvorim.
Oh, right. So Lamad knew we learned there. Klaloteha uparoteha kulan nemaru misinai. That the general rules and the details were all said at Sinai.
And nothing was said for the first time in the plains of Moab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Uvakatuvali made Khan. So the Torah comes and teaches us. Kol dibor shenidbar l'Moshe. That every word that was said to Moshe, spoken to Moshe, misinai hayu kulchem. They were all from Kulam. They were all from Sinai. Kilalotehen v'dikdukehem. The general rules and the detail rules. V'chazru the nishnu aravot Moab. And then they were repeated again at the plains of Moab. Oh, okay.
Okay. Just let me see for 1 second. 1, 2. Second. Okay. In other words, the mention here of Har Sinai is to indicate that all the mitzvahs, just like Shemitah, was mentioned in all its details at Har Sinai. so too every mitzvah was mentioned in all its details at Har Sinai. And although the Torah may only mention them later in Sefer Dvarim, that doesn't mean they weren't said at Har Sinai, but for whatever reason, the Torah had reasons to only mention it later at in the plains of Moab, in Sefer Dvarim. But in actual fact, every mitzvah given by HaKadosh Baruch Hu was given in full at Har Sinai.
Uh-huh.
Okay, blue, pasuk base.
Daber el bnei Yisrael, v'amarta alehem ki savo u el haaretz asher ani nosen lachem v'shavtsa haaretz Shabbats Lashem. Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land that I give you, the land shall observe a Sabbath rest for Hashem. Rashi says, Shabbos Lashem, L'Shem Hashem, for the sake of Hashem. Kishem Shene'emar B'Shabbos Bereshis, just as it is said with regard to the Shabbos of creation, i.e. the weekly Sabbath.
Right. Now, what Rashi is pointing out is Hashem doesn't need a rest. Right? Hashem doesn't need to rest. Hashem is not corporeal and not governed by any limitations.
Mm.
Okay, fine. Let's go on now to Pasuk Gimel, Meah.
Okay, so it says, Sheishanim tizra sadecha v'sheish shanim tizmor karmecha yasafta et tevuata. Okay, so for 6 years you will sow your fields, and for 6 years you'll prune your vineyards, and you can collect or gather whatever it's produce, it's crop. Okay, that's Gimel.
Say it's not a command like this. It's
just like a statement.
like a statement of advice.
Ah,
okay, let's go on. There's no Rashi on Pasuk 3.
okay, so the Dalit, it says, V'shana shvi'it Shabbat Shabbaton Yihye la'aretz Shabbat laHashem sadcha lo tizra v'charmecha lo tizmor. Okay, but on the 7th year, which is has complete rest,
There should be a complete
for the land. Okay.
There should be a complete cessation of work. It should be for the land. Shabbos, a time of rest for Hashem.
Wow. Complete cessation. Okay, so let's see. So complete cessation.
You mustn't plant your field.
Okay.
And you mustn't prune your vineyard.
Okay, prune the vineyard. Okay.
Let's see the Rashi.
So Rashi says, Yihiyeh la'aretz, shall be for the land. Lasadot, la kiramim. Oh, for the fields and for the vineyards.
Now,
Okay.
what Rashi means is it's only an agricultural limitation, right? You're allowed to build buildings. You're allowed to dig ditches, and you're allowed to dig up the land to lay foundations for buildings or whatever else you want to do for the land, but not for agricultural purposes, but for some other purpose. That's perfectly all right, perfectly permitted.
Oh, okay.
What is forbidden is agricultural work.
Okay, very good. Then lo tizmor, shall not prune. She kotzisin zmoroteha, or cut off vines. The targumo la tiksa. The Targum says, do not trim.
Right. To cut off, cut.
Okay, or cut. Okay. Domelo, and it's similar to kotzim bisuchim, cut thorns.
Cut down thorns.
Cut down thorns. Sarfa.
Srufa va'esh.
Srufa ba'esh bisucha.
Kesucha.
Bisucha. Burned by fire.
Kesucha means cut down.
Cut down.
So this is a description of Klal Yisrael that Klal Yisrael has suffered. So it describes Klal Yisrael as Srufa va'esh, burnt in fire, kesucha, and cut down.
Okay,
So that means basically means as we translate as prune. You mustn't prune your vineyards. So basically what the Torah is telling you over here is you mustn't gather your produce, mustn't plant your produce, and nor once it's already planted, was referred to fruit trees or whatever, they're already growing, you mustn't prune them in order to improve their growth, that it should come out better fruit. It's also forbidden. Okay, let's go on to Pasuk Hey, Lou. No?
Eis Safiach Ketzircha Lo Sik Tzor Ve'es In Vei Nezirecha Lo Siv Tzor Shanas Shabason Yeh La'aretz. The aftergrowth of your harvest you shall not reap, and the grapes of your keeping away you shall not pick. It shall be a year of rest for the land.
See, actually, invade Yizirecha. We'll see what actually, with your translation wasn't bad, but it was left a little bit ambiguous. Okay, let's see the Rashi over here.
Eis Saviach Ketzircha Afilu Lo Zarata. Even if you did not sow it, Vehi Tamcha, and it sprouted. Min Hazera Shenafal Ba Be'es HaKatzir. from the seed that fell into the ground at the time of the previous harvest.
Wow. So that's how it grew. How did like, it can't grow just from nothing. So it grew from the seeds that fell at the time of the harvest, the previous harvest. Who korei sfiach? That's called sfiach. Is it grew by itself?
Okay, Sophia.
Who's the winner?
Okay, weiter.
Yeah, continue. Lo siktzor.
Lo sikzor. Lios machazik bo. Take possession of it. Kishar katsir. Like other harvests. Ella, rather. Hefker yiyeh. It will be ownerless. Lakol. For all. Nazirecha, keeping away, shehin zarta, that you swept away, v'hif rashta, and separated.
How did you translate it? Shehin zarta.
The hin zarta is that you kept away.
Okay, up to wait. Fine. Yeah. Very good.
And shehif rashta is that you separated.
And you separated other people from them.
B'nei Adam mehem, people from them. V'lo hif kartam, and you did not relinquish ownership from them. Lo sif tzor, you shall not pick. Osam, them. Ein cha votzer, you may not pick. Ela min ha mufkar, except from those whose ownership has been relinquished.
Yeah. Those that were made hefker. Okay, that's basically what hefker is. Yeah. So basically what he's saying is Shmiya's produce which grows in Shemitah, is not forbidden per se. One may eat it. But what the prohibition is to hold the produce as owned produce. You've got to let everybody have access to it. You've got to make it hefker. You yourself are allowed to eat it, but you've got to allow others to eat it as well. You've got to make it hefker that everybody's equal, meaning it's real communism. Right? During the seventh Shmita year, you've got to have practice real communism. Everybody is equal. Okay? And everybody can have access to your produce. You're not allowed to stop anybody to come in. There are, not that you can stop people come in, but you can do it in such a way that people won't damage your field. If you're worried that as a result of allowing everybody to come in and pick the fruit of your trees, okay, or take off your produce, that's going to damage. It's going to cause damage to your fields. So there's Chazal instituted a method called Oitza Bezdin, which basically means, well, there's actually two stages. There's one stage is you can actually lock your field, but you put a sign up outside your field saying, by the gate of your field, and saying, anybody who wants to have of the produce, here can get the key from Pliny Almighty, right? or even he put a key there. But this way, he will only, human beings obviously, will only be able to have access, and it will prevent animals, wild animals, let's say, dogs, cats, and the like, going into the field and necessarily causing damage to the field. Okay, but the point is, the underlying principle is that everybody has to have equal access to the produce, that the owner doesn't have more access than anybody else. Okay? Yeah. Okay, I think we'll hold it here, and Bezos Hashem, tomorrow we'll go on to Pasuk Vov, Meir. Okay?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You
Be
too.
well. Bye-bye.